Hi, I'm Yuri Skripnichenko with Trustart Realty. Should I rent my investment property furnished? This is the question that we hear often from new investors or property owners who just moved out of their property, maybe to a different state or a different location, and don't want to take their furniture away. And they just toying with the idea of renting the property furnished. So there are a couple things that you need to consider to make that decision or determine if you want to rent it furnished or not. So first, your increased liability. So let's say you have a tenant, they move in, they furnish the property themselves, and they have little cute kids running around. Kids were running, they were sliding on the kitchen table, fell down, broke the leg. Who is responsible or liable for that? Probably not the landlord, because you have nothing to do with the kids running around the property. Now turn that around and say that the same tenant moved into the property where you, the landlord, provided them with the furniture, the kitchen table that has a wobbly leg. And tenant's kids running around, sliding over the table, falling down, breaking the leg. Now you may be liable for that. Why? Because this is your furniture, it had a wobbly leg, and now it's your liability. So this is something to consider. You definitely don't want to be liable for other people's actions. And another point is on maintaining this furniture. So the same kitchen table that you provided to the tenants, it has a wobbly leg, and now tenant calls you and tells you, hey, Mr. Landlord or Mrs. Landlord, I have the table, or you gave me this table, it has a wobbly leg, and I need it to fix ASAP because I don't want my kids to get hurt. So you need to think about that. The furniture may break, and it will be your responsibility to, or it may be your responsibility to do the repairs to the furniture, which you probably don't want to do, or don't want to be responsible for others people actions and how they use your furniture. And also it can become a nightmare for your move-ins and move-outs, because you will need to have an extra report on the condition of your furniture and if everything works, and then at the move-out you will need to assess the condition of the furniture, and then it becomes even more complicated. If there is a damage to the furniture, how do you assess it, and if you're able to charge the tenant for that damage. Also, you will need to remove the damaged furniture and maybe replace it, or it's just a lot of additional moving pieces that you will need to consider. If you provide them with things like kitchenware, you will maybe need to count your pots and pans and forks and knives and so on. So it's just extra time, extra maintenance, and extra expense on your end. And people often think that they will get much more in rent for the property that has furniture in it, but it's not that much more. Of course, it depends on the location, but in most cases, people prefer to rent unfurnished properties just because it's the common in our country, and people want to move in and bring in their own furniture. Unless if you rent on your property on Airbnb or any other short-term rental platform, that's a completely different type of investment or different type of management. If you're going that route, yes, you want to have your property furnished. That's the only way how you will be able to rent it short term. But before you consider that, before you consider Airbnb business or short-term business, you need to make sure that it's actually allowed in your locality, municipality, township, or the city, that there is no additional restrictions. Make sure there is no additional taxes involved with that, or you don't need to have any so-called hotel taxes or hotel license. And if the property is located in HOA or some kind of condo association, make sure they don't have any additional restrictions for that as well. It's a common theme in the country. A lot of condo association and HOAs prohibit Airbnbs or short-term rentals, or they do not allow rentals shorter than 60, 90, or maybe even 180 days. So these are the things to consider if you're thinking about renting your property furnished or not.